She's known as Madame la Paix. Fatoumata Maiga has made her life a fight against the proliferation of weapons and for the security of her country, Mali. With unshakable determination, she founded and now runs the Association des Femmes pour les Initiatives de Paix, an NGO born out of the silence and suffering of those who, for too long, have been the first victims of violence, women. Alongside these women fighting in the shadows, she embodies resilience and hope. They refuse to be reduced to the role of powerless witnesses. United by the same ideals, they're fighting together to rebuild peace and give their battered land the stability it deserves. You can't build peace in an environment of violence. And an environment that supports violence today is weapons. If no one has weapons, if no one uses weapons, I think that verbal conflicts will go away. And even if people were to fight, it wouldn't be as worrying as all that. Our goal is to see how people can resolve their differences without using weapons. And until now, women have not been aware of the seriousness of the availability of weapons in the hands of non-professionals. As a result, in our investigations, we found that there are families where there are weapons in attics, where weapons are in canteens. There are even explosives in there, even although it's very dangerous. Born into a military family, Fatoumata, who's now 60 years old, was living in Gao when the jihadists took control of the region. She remembers the dark hours, the ordeals that, far from breaking her spirit, have fueled her determination. We meet her at her home in a district of Bamako. I grew up well. I grew up well because I grew up in a family environment. I wasn't adopted or brought up by anyone else. I was brought up by my mother and father. Certainly, someone thinks that when you have parents who's civil servants in a country like Mali, where people move around a lot, that it's difficult. Maybe it's difficult for the parents, but I didn't feel any difficulties because I was with my family. Well, there's a bit of difference. It's that I didn't have time to see my father every day. I didn't have the possibility to see him every day because he was often away. And even although I was a child, I knew that wherever he went, it was dangerous.
Là où elle partait, c'était dangereux. L'atrocité que je ne suis pas parvenue à oublier encore.
The atrocity that I haven't yet managed to forget was in June 2018. I got a call from Bamako to tell me that the town of Gao had been attacked. And I asked, what kind of attack? And I was told, attack with explosives. I said, what kind of story is that? I asked the minister, and he said, at the moment, there are a lot of deaths. I asked the women to come back, not to go out, because there's been an explosives attack, and we had the United Nations light armored vehicles in front of our building, and it's not in our favor to go out, because we all know what they're aiming at. I asked the women not to go out. I called, and one thing led to another, and I learnt that it was on the north side of the town that two vehicles had tried to break through the checkpoint, and the French soldiers wouldn't let them through. It wasn't a pretty sight. That's what I saw. It wasn't a pretty sight. They exploded. The vehicles exploded. The two-story buildings collapsed. People were gutted, completely gutted. It was blood. It was flesh. It was pain everywhere. There's no reason to go to war. Where is the reason?